All right, Unit 3.3, Part 1, we're going to work the notes and we're going to work 1, 3, 5, and 7. Part 2, we'll review the notes and work 9, 11, and 13. All right. A rotation is a spin around a fixed point called the axis or center of rotation, right? Sometimes you'll see it as axis of rotation. If it's going too fast, slow it down. But I'm going to talk fast to keep the video short. The figure rotates at a specific angle, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and direction, right? It's either going clockwise, like a clock, or it's going counterclockwise, which is opposite of a clock, right? For most of this worksheet, we're going to be going counterclockwise. So make sure you read the directions and follow them carefully, right? Though the figure can rotate around any fixed point, and we'll learn that in 3.4, the most common center of rotation is the origin. Everything on this worksheet rotates around the origin. All right? There are rules for it to do that. Rules for rotating points about the origin. All right? So, to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2 is 90 degrees. So 90 degrees counterclockwise, opposite of a clock. The rules are you start with your x, y, right? You're going to change the sign of the x, change the sign of the y, sign of the y. So it's going to become a negative y, or if it's a negative y, it's going to become a positive y. If it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. Change the sign of the y, and then switch x and y. And switch x and y. Right? So now this is a negative y, and then we're going to switch them. So it's going to be negative y, comma x. To rotate 180 degrees, we're rotating 2 quadrants. So if it starts in 1, you're going to end in 3. You're rotating 2 quadrants this time, a half circle, 180 degrees. And it doesn't matter if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, because if you go counterclockwise, you end here. If you go clockwise, you end here. So either way, you end up in the same place. That's why it doesn't say clockwise or counterclockwise. All right, you start with your x, y, and then you're going to change the signs of x and y. You're not going to switch x and y. No, you're just going to change the signs. So if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. That's it. All right, and 270 degrees counterclockwise. If you are starting in quadrant 1, that would put you all the way into quadrant 4. All right, so 270 degrees counterclockwise transfers you 3 quadrants. Goes from 1 to 4 or 2 back to 1. It's going to change you 3 quadrants, right? And the rule is change the sign of the x if it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And switch x and y. Just follow the rules. So you're going to change the x. So if it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And you're going to switch them. So you're going to end up with y negative x. If you don't understand why positive becomes negative and negative becomes positive, ask. I'll show you an example and you'll understand like this. Alright? Graph and label each figure and its image under the given rotation about the origin. Give the coordinates of the image. You need a pre-image. You need your new coordinates based on the rule. And you need your image. Right? So you need all of that for it to be right. Triangle ABC with vertices A is 2, 7. So A is going to go 2 right and 7 up. 2 right, 7 up is A. B is 6, 5. So 6 right, 5 up is B. C is 4, 1. So 4 right, 1 up. C. Connect. Use a ruler, please. Your lines should be straighter than my lines. All right? And we're going 90 degrees counterclockwise. So the rule was change sign of the y value and switch x and y. Right? That's the rule. So if A is 2, 7, first we're going to change the sign of the y, so that'll be 2, negative 7, and then we're going to switch them. So it'll be negative 7, 2, right? So it went from 2, 7 to 2, negative 7, because we changed the sign of the y, and then we're going to end up, after we switch them, with negative 7, 2. Do them in this order. Change the sign of the y, and then switch x and y. Right? So A prime, right, it's A prime is negative 7, 2. Make sure when you're writing your primes, you put it down here where it belongs. I'm putting it over here so that you can see the graph as big as possible. You see what I'm doing here? I'm trying to make the graph as big as possible so you can see it. So A prime is negative 7, 2. So left 7, up 2. Is that right? Change y and switch. Negative 7, 2. Yeah. And then B prime. Change the sign of the y and then switch. So negative 5, 6. C prime. Change the sign of the y. Then switch. Negative 1, 4. Negative 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 6. This is A prime. This is B prime. C prime is negative 1, 4. So left 1, up 4. For C prime. Connect. And if you need a visual, pick 2 points. B and B prime would be perfect. Or A and A prime, or C and C prime. It doesn't matter. And do the rotation. B to B prime is a 90-degree counterclockwise. You can see it. All right? This time we're going to do a trapezoid. And we're going 270 degrees counterclockwise. Let's see how big I can make it. All right. Pre-image first. J is 3, 4. This is my X. This is my Y. You'll notice I always put X and Y, just to remind myself that this is the X-axis and this is the Y-axis. Just a reminder. K is 6, 4, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. L is 8, 1, 8, 1. I happen to know there's only 8, so I know 8 is going to go all the way. And M is 1, 1. Now we know what a trapezoid looks like. All right, we have our pre-image. We're going 270 degrees counterclockwise. So the rule for that is change the sign of the X and switch X and Y. And remember, do them in this order. Change the sign first. Alright, so we're going to change the sign of the X, so it's going to become -3. So we went from 3, 4. We changed the sign of the X, it became -3, 4. And then we switched, so it became 4, -3. Just follow the steps. That's what the rules are for, right? So we're looking at J prime as 4, -3. Remember, put your answers down here. 4, -3 is J prime. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 4 to the right, 3 down is J prime. K prime, change the value of, or change the sign of X value, so it'll be -6, and then switch, 4, -6. K prime is 4, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And L prime, 8 becomes -8, and then we switch them, it becomes 1, -8. 1, -8, L prime, M prime, 1, 1, becomes -1, and then we switch them, so it becomes 1, -1. 1, -1 is M prime. Connect the dots. And you can see visually, pick a letter and go from L to L prime. More than a half circle, so 270 degrees is what we did. Back to video. All right. That was 270 degrees counterclockwise. Here's another one that's 270 degrees counterclockwise. You should be able to do it. Pause the video and see if you can do it ahead of me. Did you pause it? It's so much more satisfying when you get it right if you do it ahead of me. Anyway, also if you don't try, you can't learn. Period. Rhombus. -5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 5. C. D is -1, 7. E is -3, 3. Left 3, up 3. F is -7, 1. Rhombus. We're going 270 degrees counterclockwise again. We're changing the sign of the X and then switching the X and the Y. So C prime, change the sign. If it was negative, make it positive, and then switch them. So 5, 5. D prime, if it was negative, make it positive, and then switch them. 7, 1. How are you doing so far? Are you getting it right? If you're not getting it right, go back and figure out what you did wrong. Change the sign, switch them. 3, 3. F prime. Change the sign, switch them. 1, 7. 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. That's C prime. D prime, 7, 1. E prime, 3, 3. F prime, 1, 7. Same shape, rigid transformation. We didn't change the size of the shape. We just rotated it 270 degrees around the origin. Right? We went counterclockwise around the origin. And 7, parallelogram and 180 degrees. All right, pre-image. M is 1, 7. 1 to the right, 7 up. N is 8, 5. 8 to the right, 5 up. O is 4, 2. 4 to the right, 2 up. P is negative 3, 4. So left 3, up 4. Connect and see what you end up with. M, N, O, P. Back to M. Let's try that again. N, N, O, P. Back to M. Better. Parallelogram. All right, and then we're going 180 degrees. That means the rules for 180 degrees are change both signs, right? Change signs of X and Y, but don't switch them, right? Don't switch them, right? So we're going to start with 1, 7, and it's going to become negative 1, negative 7. We're just changing the signs. If it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive, right? So M prime is negative 1, negative 7. N prime, negative 8, negative 5. O prime, negative 4, negative 2. And P prime was negative, now it's positive. Was positive, now it's negative. Graph it. M prime, negative 1, negative 7. N prime, negative 8, negative 5. O prime, negative 4, negative 2. P prime, 3, negative 4. M, N, O, P, back down. Check it. 180 degrees, right? It should make a half circle. Let's start at N. Go to N prime. That looks like a half circle to me, y'all. Remember, we went 180 degrees on this one, so we shifted 2 quadrants. We went 270 degrees on this one, so we shifted 3 quadrants. And we went 90 degrees on this one, so we only shifted 1 quadrant. Think about where your after image should end up, all right? Make sure you understand the first 8 before you move on to the second video.